Just as he had in high school, John soon gained a reputation as the class delinquent, leading his friends astray.
You knew if you went on a party with John, you were going to be on the edge, okay? You were going to party right up to the last minute. You were going to be the last one to leave the party. And so he developed this aura of being John Wayne Mccain, a roguish guy.
Nothing seemed to intimidate Mccain, not even the upperclassmen who could make a plebe's life miserable. One time in the mess hall, John confronted an upperclassman who was mistreating a Filipino steward.
The first classman said, "What's your name, mister?" And John said, "My name is Midshipman John S. McCain III, 17th Company. What's yours?" The first classman got so flustered that he just got up and left the table. That was just an example of absolute raw courage, to confront an upperclassman. But that never occurred to John. He just wasn't going to tolerate a situation like that.
All 4 years at Annapolis, John teetered on the edge of expulsion. He was never a very good student, and in the end he would graduate 5th from the bottom of his class. June 4th, 1958, graduation day. President Eisenhower gave the commencement speech, and John's very relieved parents watched as their son was one of the happy grads to toss his cap in the air. From Annapolis, McCain went straight to flight school, where he was trained as a Navy fighter pilot. After years of regimentation, McCain reveled in the freewheeling lifestyle of a jet jockey. He loved the thrill of flying. But at 22, McCain was still just a young hotshot, taking risks and flirting with danger. Twice he had to bail out of planes at the last minute. And another time, his daredevil maneuvers almost caused an international incident.
I was flying off the USS Enterprise in Spain, and I made a significant tactical error by flying at low altitude and striking some power lines, thereby, I'm told, depriving a certain section of southern Spain of any electricity for some period of time.
Stationed all over the world, McCain spent 4 years drinking, gambling, and chasing women.
John liked beautiful women, and beautiful women liked John, and that's why it was fun to be around John.
McCain lived the life of a playboy until 1964, when he began dating Carol Shep, a pretty Philadelphia model who had been married to one of his Annapolis classmates.
In his Naval Academy yearbook, John is referred to as the Navy's answer to John Wayne. And I always felt that it fit him. He was like a movie character with a silk scarf and cigarette in his hand, and he was absolutely charming.
John pursued Carol for 18 months, flying up to Philadelphia every weekend, until they were finally married on July 3rd, 1965. At 28, McCain felt he was ready to settle down. He adopted Carol's 2 sons, Douglas and Andrew, and 2 years later they had a daughter named Sydney. But all the time he was starting a family, McCain kept a close watch on what was happening in Southeast Asia. By 1967, President Johnson again and again had increased combat troops in Vietnam. The Vietnamese War had become American. When 30-year-old Lieutenant Commander McCain got his orders to ship out on the USS Forrestal, he was eager to test himself in combat. Little did this one-time party boy realize how many times in the coming years he would put his life on the line, serving his country. July 1967, as American combat troops battled communist guerrilla forces in the jungles of Vietnam, U.S. aircraft carriers moved into the South China Sea to provide round-the-clock air support. On the morning of the 29th, Lieutenant Commander John McCain, who was stationed aboard the USS Forrestal, climbed into his A-4 Skyhawk jet fighter to prepare for a routine bombing mission.